This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. As I said, I normally start the show with Dan by reading a review, but I forgot because I'm stupid, so I'm going to read it now. It's an iTunes review, which is our favourite, and it's from Marina and says, Rock and Roll English is a great and really useful way to improve your English knowledge and one of the most original that I've ever listened to. It's always a pleasure for me listening to it. Well, it's a pleasure to have you, Marina, as a listener. So thank you very much. Anyway, so today's show, we talk about a, quite important thing in today's society, which is Facebook. And obviously, we don't concentrate on the good things about Facebook. That wouldn't be Rock and Roll English. So we concentrate on the negatives. Also, it's too easy to talk about the good things in life. Everything's great. It's boring as well. Everything's great. She's great. I'm great. You're great. It's much more interesting to talk about the negatives. So that's what we do here on Rock and Roll English. Okay? So anyway, have fun listening. Dan the man, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Did anyone play any pranks on you on 1st of April? April Fool's Day?
No, they didn't. But then I don't speak to that many people, so it's...
It's quite a lot easier in that way then, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you?
Same problem as you, really. No pranks because no one speaks to me. Anyway, so the topic of today's show, and also if no one knows what we're talking about with April Fool's Day and pranks, listen to the previous episode. So let's move on. Today we're talking about a very important subject. Do you know what?
No, you haven't told me yet. What is it?
It is Facebook. Have you ever heard of Facebook, Dan?
No, please tell me. What is it?
Well, it's a book with a face on. And about, I don't know, 1 billion people. I didn't look at the statistics. It would have taken me about 2 minutes, but I'm too lazy to do things. When I say it would have taken me. But yeah, I didn't. But we are famous on Facebook, Dan.
Are we?
Well,
I barely use it.
Oh, very nice. I barely use it, which is another way to say I rarely use it, not very much. Well, we have like nearly 400 likes. I think 371 to be precise.
How long has the podcast been going?
Nice little present perfect there, Dan. How long has it been going? Since the end of January, so however long that is. So yeah, like 371. I think that qualifies us as famous. But on Instagram, we have nearly 4,000. So that proves that, Facebook is shit. Fuck Facebook.
Correct.
And one of the other reasons is because there are some strange algorithms on Facebook. So if you don't press like on like a page, Facebook hides the page from you.
So please like our page.
Please like our page. That is the real message of today's show. That and fuck Facebook. But not just like the page, you have to like the posts. Because if you just like the page, as I just explained to you, Dan, obviously it was a bit difficult for you. It went straight over your head. What does it mean, it went straight over your head?
I missed the point.
Yeah, you didn't understand. Yes, if you just like the page but not the post, then Facebook hides the post from you.
Does it make a difference if people comment on
comments
it as well?
Well, that's the same thing, Dan. Interaction we're talking about.
No, you said likes, not interaction.
Well, I wanted you to read between the lines. Another nice expression there, to make your own conclusions and understand. But obviously, that's a bit too difficult for you because you are a fool. The word from the last episode. Remember, an idiot. Okay, but now we can... No problem. You're welcome. So now we're going to look at some things people do on Facebook because, Dan and I like to moan a lot. And what does moan mean, Dan?
Complain.
Moan, complain.
You complain far more than me, though.
We are both moaners. Use the noun there. We are moaners. So we like to complain. So let's look at some things people do, and you can tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
You can give us your expert opinion. So what about when someone posts a picture of their food before they eat it, and then another picture of an empty plate after they eat it?
Well, I tend to delete these people off my friends lists because I hate that.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it? Speaking of deleting people, or another way is to say unfriend people, I looked at some statistics and I found out that people have been murdered, so have been killed, for unfriending people on Facebook. So next time you think about defriending someone, Dan, think twice. So think twice means think about it carefully.
Where were they murdered?
Well, it doesn't say, but I would imagine America, because all of these crazy things happen in America.
Correct, yeah.
Do you remember when you deleted me from Facebook, Dan?
You've said this before. I have deleted my account, but I can't remember deleting you.
Well, you did.
Did I really?
Yes, we had an argument once because Dan and I always argue. And he just showed what a complete dickhead he is.
You are disposable. Right.
And deleted me. And then I had to call him and say, what the fuck are you doing? We've been friends for, well, at that time, 20 years, and you are deleting me from Facebook.
I'm lucky you didn't murder me then, really.
Well, you are lucky. And just think, if I hadn't called you, we wouldn't have made this incredible podcast. Third conditional there, Dan.
I noticed.
If I hadn't called you to make peace, we wouldn't have done it. Okay, so let's look at some other things on Facebook, annoying things. What about when couples, so people, in a relationship, write messages to each other, public messages about how much they love each other?
It's not on.
It's not on. It's not acceptable. Yeah, I mean, I think, can't you just send a message, a private message, text message, WhatsApp?
It's worse. No, it's worse when they're in the same room. You know they live together.
And they say, "Oh, I love you so much, baby. Oh, I love you too." Yeah, this is great. This is just what I want to read on my when I come home and look at Facebook. So yeah, that's another very annoying thing.
My biggest hate though is when someone complains about someone else without naming them on Facebook, and then all their friends jump on and start complaining with them.
Yeah, this was one thing I was actually going to bring up. I was going to call this cryptic messages. When people say something like, some people are just such bastards. And as you say, they don't give the name, and then people say, "Oh, what happened?" And you go, "Oh no, I don't want to talk about it." And you say, "Well,
don't post it.
Don't post it on Facebook then." Anyway, and another very annoying thing, my biggest hate actually, is when someone says something like, "Share this post if you think racism is bad," or "Share this post if you love your mother."
I've seen that one before. And share this within 2 seconds if you love your mum.
Yeah, you think, okay, what? So if I don't share this post, that means that I don't love my mum.
I've noticed you don't share those posts. Does that mean you don't love your mum? I've noticed that.
I show that I love my mum in other ways, except sharing a post on Facebook that says, I love my mum, but it's the same with all the other ones of like racism is bad. I just think, what? So if I don't share this, that means I'm racist. It's normally a shit picture as well. It's not even a good picture. You just think, well, what's the point in sharing that? And what about the people that invite you to play Candy Crush?
Oh, Yeah.
Um,
That's not on. That's poor.
Again, not on. It's not acceptable. And the thing that is strange about it is that they send it to you
1,000 times a day.
Yeah, and you think, look, I've never accepted this. At what point do you think, oh well, I'll send it to him again, another 20 times, and then he'll probably accept?
I don't understand why they do it. What is there to gain?
I've never played Candy Crush. Maybe it's something of the app. I'm not sure. My mum plays Candy Crush though. She loves it.
Does your mum ask you 20 times a day?
No, she doesn't actually. So maybe people can ask my mum for advice about.
That's because you love your mum.
Exactly. How to play Candy Crush responsibly. But a real serious thing that we need to talk about, which is again not acceptable, is that, for example, I will post something hilarious. So hilarious is very funny. Put a lot.
I've never seen that, but okay.
I put a lot of thought into this, and maybe a picture with a joke. I'll get maybe 3 likes. Then I see someone post a selfie, and it gets like 200 likes, and I think, how is this happening?
Why don't we run a test? Why don't you do a photo of yourself as a selfie and see how many likes you get? I think we should do that.
Well, I think this is the thing, actually. The people that put selfies are generally, well, not always actually, but generally beautiful people. So that is why I don't make selfies. And that is why we also do podcasts instead of videos. So
yeah, that's a good point.
One other very important thing to talk about is bad grammar on Facebook, which happens too much. Which, when I'm saying it happens with English people. I see this every single day.
But that goes beyond Facebook, though.
Yeah, I suppose I only see it on Facebook, because obviously the people that do this are not people that send me messages. The your and your is the worst one.
There and there.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you're like, I don't know, your pen, and you're like, you're crazy. You are crazy. People confuse them. It just looks so bad. And then again, it'll be like a selfie with a grammatical error, and it still gets like 200 likes. And then my hilarious post gets like, I don't know, 2 likes, one of which is from my mum. The world is not a fair place, Dan.
Is this your way of asking me to like your photos more?
In fact, you never like them, you fucking bastard.
That's because they're never funny.
Well, they are funny.
So that'd be, so your mum's one.
Yeah.
Who are the other 2?
Well, the other 2 are people that I normally pay money to. That maybe, or like a friend, if I'm with someone, I will take their phone and just say press like on my on my post, because no one else is liking it. Anyway, so another statistic I found it says that 1 in 3 people feel more dissatisfied with their life after going on Facebook. Do you feel dissatisfied with your life, Dan, after Facebook, or just in general?
It's just in general, I think.
I actually feel better about myself after Facebook, because what I do, when I go on and I see someone that puts the picture of the food before and after, or a selfie, or something like that, and I think, well, I may have a shit life, but at least
I'm not them.
I'm not that person that puts the selfies.
But worse than selfies are the live animated, a short video of people recording themselves.
Remember in one of the other episodes, actually, we found out that selfies kill more people than sharks. So, just beware of that, people. Yes. And remember, it is not good for your morale and life in general. Okay, so remember what we've learned today, Dan. That the main thing is that
like our posts and comment on.
Like our hilarious posts, and don't like the food posts or the selfie posts. Rock and Roll English posts are, well, I wouldn't say the best in the world, but I would definitely say in the top 3.
Absolutely.
So, we want to be a bit humble, which is another word from last week. We don't want to say we're the best, but we're definitely top 3.
But we are the best.
We are the best, yeah. Okay, thanks very much for your time, Dan. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Yeah, see you later.
See you later. Okay, so that was Dan and I talking about the shit things of Facebook. So let's have a look at some of that rock and roll vocabulary. Barely was a word that Dan the man used when he said he barely uses Facebook, which means almost never, which isn't actually true. He always uses Facebook. He's just trying to act cool. To go over your head when I was explaining these algorithms to Dan and he didn't understand. I said it went over your head. It's a nice idiom there to say you don't understand. Read between the lines was another idiom used just after when he didn't understand. And I said, yeah, well, I was hoping you would read between the lines to try, and understand something yourself. But he can't. He's a fool. Another one, which I think we've mentioned before, is moan, which is to complain. In fact, we must have mentioned that before because we always moan. A very nice term that I think I used was think twice. It's a very common thing to say, which just means obviously think again. I think we used it when we were talking about when you delete someone on Facebook and they murder you. So we say, think twice before you do that. We had a nice third conditional, remember, after Dan deleted me, and then I said, if I hadn't called you to make peace, we wouldn't have made this incredible podcast. Because obviously we're talking about a past event, third conditional. Another one that Dan used a couple of times was, it's not on. When we were talking about people posting food, and he said, yeah, that's not on. It's not acceptable. Very common thing to say. We had hilarious, which is obviously very funny, like Rock and Roll English hilarious posts, which get like 3 likes, but, never mind. And that is everything for today. So thanks as always for listening. Remember, we love iTunes reviews even more than we like likes on Facebook. So, if you want to do us a favour, you know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, go to the website anyway, because there's instructions about how to leave a review. And on the great website, rockandrollenglish.com, there is also the vocabulary and grammar. So I recommend you do that so you don't forget these rock and roll words and you can use them when you go out. Okay, I will be back on Thursday with Dan the Man. Enjoy the days in between. I'm sure you will. See you later.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.